Welcome back to another episode of Intimacy Secrets Podcast. On today's show, I'll be talking about my new book, Enhancing Emotional Intimacy, that discusses the secrets of emotional intimacy in relationships. In fact, I'll put a link in today's notes if you'd like to download it for free. And don't forget to follow and share if you know someone who would benefit from this podcast. So stay tuned and we'll jump right into the episode. Welcome to Intimacy Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Linda Smith. This podcast is for singles and couples that want to ignite, excite, and delight in all things intimacy. This podcast will teach you how to be the perfect lover and to put the sizzle into your relationship. So let's lay some foundations for our journey together and for you to be able to develop intimacy in your relationships. This episode is going to answer the question that many people ask: what is emotional intimacy? And I will also give you 5 secrets on how to start building it every day. When you ask someone, how is the emotional intimacy in your relationship? They usually start talking about their sex life or don't know really how to put their feelings into words. They know that their relationship isn't perfect, that something is missing, but they can't quite put their finger on it. And people tend not to have enough thought about emotional intimacy in their platonic relationships. Romantically speaking, there's a good chance that no matter how much you love and like your partner, there is a lack of growth in your relationship. All relationships are a two-way street, and their depth can be defined by how boundless the respect is between the two people, as well as the level of give and take that is typical of it. When it comes to emotional intimacy in romantic relationships, the picture of love can start to unravel when two people start to criticize, nitpick, and blame each other. Left undealt with always leads to resentment. It's rare that we are naturally equipped with the skills necessary to take our love and transform it into a deep emotional intimacy. Sitcoms and movies make love look easy and set us up to fail with false expectations. So we become disillusioned when faced with the truth that relationships can be messy and they take work. And we feel like failures when we allow love to erode, our trust to slip, and we either settle into this state of discontentment or the relationship dies. Humans naturally desire a deep emotional attachment to others. And when there are romantic feelings involved, there is often also a desire to attach physically. This translates into the need to experience love, the act of loving someone, as well as being loved. These feelings aren't enough, though, to create emotional intimacy. No matter how strong or deep you believe the feelings to be, sexual intimacy in and of itself is not enough. Can you think of a relationship, whether romantic or platonic, that ended, and you were left wondering about who that person truly was? Sometimes you feel that you know someone deeply within the first day you meet them, and other times you can know someone for a decade and be none the wiser to who they are as a person. So many people have lived together, slept in the same bed, had children together, shared a life, and yet lack total emotional intimacy. A relationship can end leaving you reeling, wondering who this person was that you invested so much of your time in. So what does emotional intimacy really mean? The easiest way to explain this is with the word empathy. There is a shared sense of it, a closeness, and whether you're in a romantic or platonic relationship, you feel able to show the other person affection, share your deepest feelings and darkest thoughts. And you don't have to worry that they will jump to judgment or use it as a weapon against you. Truly, emotional intimacy is present when someone is able to read you like a book and still want to continue the story. You are fully transparent to them, and they are happy to look at the view. If you have a romantic partner who also happens to be your best friend, this is a sign that you have created the perfect combination of intimacy, physically and emotionally. But what if you find it difficult to get close to people? If emotional intimacy is terrifying you, there is hope. Here are 5 secrets to improving emotional intimacy in your relationships. First, understand what causes you to push people away and stops you from opening up with others. As you think back, certain memories might begin to surface. Perhaps a loved one broke your trust, or you grew up in a home with little to no affection. No matter what the reason, it's important to create a timeline to help you discover why it's not safe for you to enter into an emotional relationship. This often begins the healing journey. Otherwise, you may continue to feel emotionally unavailable. However, this is not always a long and exhaustive process. Once order is created and blocks removed, it is often a very profound experience, leading to a greater understanding of how your system wasn't hurting you, but rather protecting you from perceived threats. So, if you discover that your reasons are linked to being hurt in the past, then this is really important information. You are vulnerable, and that can make you judge everyone by the same behavior that your past pain caused. It's a bit like fight or flight. Your subconscious self is trying to protect you. Sometimes, though, it backfires and leaves you with the belief that everyone will hurt you or let you down. Start by retraining your subconscious self to break this cycle by writing down all the ways a certain person is different from those who have caused you hurt and pain in the past. Then verbalize what you have written so that new information is programmed and integrated within your unconscious self. Second, understand the difference between physical and emotional intimacy. It's common to think that by being physically intimate, you will be able to achieve emotional intimacy. While the two may overlap, this is completely untrue. It's difficult to enjoy physical intimacy within a relationship when you and your partner aren't truly connected. The two most common reasons couples end up in my clinic is over sex and money. The truth is that anyone can have sex. It's part of our primal drives. Whereas emotional intimacy, that takes some effort and skill. Sure, initially when people start to date, they are captivated, fully in lust mode, and their sexual experiences are out of this world. Then something happens. It's called reality. And for some couples, it hits them like a Mack truck. They have confused fantasy with emotional intimacy. I'm not saying that sometimes a quickie isn't fun, but for the most part, emotional intimacy is the secret to meaningful, deeper, and long-lasting relationships. Third, walking the path of emotional intimacy. Once you begin to change, you will feel, behave, and think in ways that are congruent. It takes practice. However, once new ideas are accepted by your unconscious self, then over time you will no longer have to remind yourself to act out that desired behavior. It's kind of like when you start a new job and you program the location in Google Maps. After a few trips, you will unconsciously find yourself getting to work without thinking about it. It's like that with emotional intimacy. You may start by consciously hugging or initiating a conversation with your partner, but after a few times, your unconscious self will automatically generate the feeling, and your subconscious self will carry out the action. By doing so, you will discover a greater sense of awareness and closeness like never before. Over time, your system will learn to discern how to be vulnerable and to trust self. Pace yourself for your journey. Sometimes if you rush along, you miss the beauty in the details. The fourth secret is the journey starts with self. Each step you take along your journey is a learning opportunity. The good news is that you get to design your future of intimacy in the way you desire. Learning how to discern, who to trust, and becoming vulnerable is demanding on our internal resources. That's why most people fail and give up. They don't pace themselves. The journey to healthy intimacy develops from the inside out, not the other way around. If you are unable to trust, care, or love yourself, then how will you demonstrate any of these externally with another person? Remember, change work always starts with self. The fifth secret is give yourself time. Be patient. Cultivating healthy, intimate relationships happens over time. Your system needs time to integrate new information. However, once the new information integrates, then you have conditioned your default system to work for you and not against you. This frees up your conscious self to level up, to continue enhancing your emotional, intimate relationships. I hope today's episode has deepened your understanding of emotional intimacy and that the 5 secrets on how to start building it every day are helpful to you. Remember, I welcome questions and would love to answer any that you have. Make sure to join me on my next podcast where I will be diving deeper into exploring self-intimacy and why this is a foundational step on the journey of building intimate relationships. Also, if you found value in this episode, please leave a positive review below. And if you haven't already done so, please join my Facebook group. Well, that's it for now. We'll talk next week.